Welcome back again to the Outer Dimensions podcast with Dave and Dre. Welcome again. This is our Christmas episode. We're going to go over some Christmas classics. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone's getting ready for that holiday season. If you're in the chat, give us a hello. Tell us what you're up to tonight. Now, I guess the dimension's in a little bit of a flux. Let me see if I can fix this, guys. I look like a anime cartoon for a second. Let me see if I can fix that. Give us a quick little second here. Let's see. See if I can fix this. Now I'm a different kind of cartoon. Let's see if I can fix it again. The dimensional grid is a little bit in flux here, guys. Oh, nope. Almost. We're getting there. We're getting there. Oh, cyber me. Oh, no, we don't want that. Wait a minute. Now I look like a little kid. Let's see if we can fix that one more time, guys. And there we go. I'm back to normal. I hope everyone's having a great day. We're going to go over now. Yes, Dre's not here just yet. He's running around doing some family stuff. So we're going to start this off. Hopefully he's going to be able to join us a little bit later. I want to say hello to the Cobweb Collector. What's up? Yeah, baby Dave. I look like a baby for a second there. So we're going to be talking modern day Christmas classics, or at least a few. There's so many out there, but we're going to go over a few today. There you go. Let's pull it up on screen. So there we are. Modern day Christmas classics. And by the way, we're going to be going over 4 movies tonight, but I want everyone in the chat, anyone who's watching right now, I want you to list your top 4 modern Christmas classics. So let's go ahead and we're going to, now, like I said, Dre is running a little late. He is doing some family stuff, but he should be joining us, hopefully. Not our first rodeo, so let's go ahead and pull this up. So we're going to start off with the first one. Now, the first one we have is, of course, A Christmas Story, which honestly, I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of, it's pretty much a modern classic, and going back to 1983. So this is already 40 years old. Kind of crazy, right? 1983, it's 2023, so that's 40 years old already. Now, of course, this was a classic, came out November 18th of 1983, produced by Bob Clark and Remy Dupont. Let me pull up all the information here on my primary screen here. Bear with me, guys. Okay, now this starred Peter Billingsley, obviously as Ralphie, I should say. I said Raffi. Darren McGavin. I mean, most people know him from Kolchak, the Night Stalker, and so many other classics, TV shows and movies. I mean, he's done a lot of movies over the years. Melinda Dillon and Zach Ward, and among others. Now, this is obviously spun off a few different movies. We're going to go over that in just a moment. Now, for 1983, this had a budget of $3.3 million, which translates to $9.12 million in today. So yeah, 40 years later, it only triples the budget. Not bad, actually. Now, the box office, it grossed $19.2 million back in 1983. That's kind of a big deal right there. Now, that would translate to $57.79 million today. Of course, thanks to Dre for doing our cheat sheet and giving us all this statistics here. Now, I had a runtime of 94 minutes. That's only an hour and 34 minutes. Not bad. Now, believe it or not, this is actually based on a novel. I did not know that, actually. Based on a novel called In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash by Gene Shepard. Awesome. 2 sequel films. It runs in the family in 1994, and A Christmas Story, Christmas, in 2022 were made. Now, that was the one that came out last year, and it actually had some of the original cast in there, which is very cool. Now, IMDb, you gotta love the aggregators. Oh, we have a third one added here. So we have IMDb gave it 7.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 89%, and Metacritic 77%. Now, when the film came out, the film has an overall approval rating from critics of 89%, with an average score of 8.4 out of 10. Now, the site's consensus reads both warmly nostalgic, darkly humorous. A Christmas Story deserves a status as a holiday perennial. Well, it is. I mean, how many times have any of us seen it at Christmas time or throughout the year? I think TNT or TBS usually run like 24 or 48 hours of A Christmas Story around the clock. So yeah, it is a perennial. In his movie guide, Leonard Martin, he's a well-known movie critic of the 80s and 90s actually. Leonard Martin awarded the film a 4-star rating, calling the film delightful and truly funny for kids and grown-ups alike, with wonderful period flavor. Now, this came out in 1983, but if you look at all the vehicles and the references, it looks like it's really taking place around like the late 40s, maybe like early to mid 50s, I want to say. It's got that look. I mean, there's so many one-liners in there. I mean, you can see in the poster right there. We got, of course, the father holding his his fragile work of art, his lamp that he won. Ralphie in the really horrible bunny pajamas, holding his Red Ryder BB gun. Uh, well, we don't see the little brother there, which is a little odd. But hey, it's neither here nor there. I mean, there's so many damn funny lines in this movie. You know, I mean, that's where all of us got Triple Dog Dare from. when Ralphie's friend is triple dog dare to stick his tongue to a pole. Of course, it's frozen there. Uh, uh, when he gets Ralphie's mouth gets washed out with soap because he dropped the f bomb, even though we heard "oh fudge," but that's not really what he said. I mean, it's one of those all time classics. I mean, it's one of those movies where you grew up and you look, this is like one of the first movies growing up because I was born in '78, so oh geez, I was like what 5 at the time. Um, this was one of those movies where you knew the lines word for word, and really a lot of people out there really didn't know movies line for line until years later. Like you think like Adam Sandler classics like Happy Gilmore, or a really great Adam Sandler movie, Eight Crazy Nights. Who knows? Maybe we'll review that in the future. But this is one of those like everything is from you know the neighborhood dogs breaking into the house stealing the dinner, you know the father looking at his son when Ralphie says oh fudge, he drops the actual f word, he doesn't say fudge. I mean, Fargus, I mean, it was just everything was just this is a textbook in writing a Christmas classic back in 1983. It's one of those movies you don't get tired of watching, and when you do watch it, you get those family vibes. You get that family nostalgia for the old classic Christmases that sadly we don't get anymore. Uh, the bully of a Santa who pushes Ralphie down the slide with his boots as he says "ho ho ho," just shoves him right down the ladder, right down the slide. Ralphie, always being told, you'll shoot your eye out, and he actually does. Or the what was it, the Dick Tracy decoder ring, or no, Little Orphan Annie decoder ring. That's what it was. I mean, there's just so many call outs on this movie that it's just always a great time. Now, anyone who's in the chat, I want you guys to let me know. Do you like A Christmas Story? Is it one of your favorites? Do you get tired of watching it over and over again, or do you still enjoy it every single time you watch it? Let me know in the chat, in the comment section below. Please let us know. So we're going to move on to the next film. Now, this one it happened about 11 years later. We have The Santa Claus, which came out in 1994, November 11th of 1994. Produced by Jeffrey Silver and Brian Riley. Looks like they're also the writers. Now, this starred Tim Allen, Judge Reinhold, Peter Boyle, Wendy Crewson, and David Krumholtz. If I said those names properly. If I didn't, I apologize to those people. Of course, Judge Reinhold, we know him from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the Beverly Hills Cop series, movies like Vice Versa. He's kind of like the second banana kind of character. He's a sidekick kind of a character. In this one, of course, Tim Allen and his wife are, they're separated, and Reinhold plays the mom's new boyfriend. Cobb Collector says, "Gotta love Christmas Story. Like the first movie I think of Christmas time." Yeah, I mean, there's certain movies you think of Christmas time. Now we went with what we thought were just four quick modern classics. I mean, there's so many that we can bring up. There's even a good Thanksgiving one called Dutch, which is a good favorite of mine, but that kind of precedes Christmas. I mean, there's a lot of other ones. You got like movies like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I mean, there's just so many out there. I mean, we could go the goofy route. We could say Ernest Saves Christmas. We could say A Muppet Christmas Carol. We could say Scrooge. There's so many modern classics that we'll be doing future episodes, obviously, talking a little bit more on those movies. But on these four, you got Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. This one kind of rewrote the Santa Claus myth to that. I mean, even to this day, there is a Santa Claus series on Disney Plus now. I haven't watched it personally, but that's the kind of thing. Like it spawned so many. Like Dre had inputted that it spawned two sequels, the Santa Claus 2 and the Santa Claus 3. But it's even spawned more with the Disney Plus series now. Now, unfortunately, we were not able to pull up the original budgets or its box office, but we know this was a box office hit because they made sequels. Original runtime of 97 minutes. Now, the great premise of this was Tim Allen and his son, they hear some noise, goes out to investigate, and it's Santa. Santa loses his grip. He loses his footing, slides off the roof, and he dies. Not exactly what you want to see at Christmas, but Tim Allen, he's checking him. He's checking out to see if he's really dead, and he appears to be dead. He puts on the coat, and by default, that's the Santa Claus, is in the legal clause. So now, because he's put on the coat, he's the new Santa. And he gets all Santa's powers, abilities, and it's just chaos and insanity because Tim Allen, this is like Tim Allen during Home Improvement. He doesn't look like a big, jolly, heavy set person with a white beard, but thanks to Disney and movie magic, he slowly is putting on weight. The beard, he tries to shave the beard, and it just sprouts like there's no tomorrow. Uh, it is a fun movie. It got, it's about family too because he has a son Charlie, and he is also trying to be a father. The sequel goes into him finding a Mrs. Claus, and there's a whole to do with that. But this is one of those modern family classics. I mean, this is something where you watch it, you just enjoy. It brings you those warm, fuzzy feelings about family, about what's important at Christmas, and it kind of just it kind of opens up your childhood. You could be a full grown adult, have a family of your own, but you sit down and you watch this, and it kind of makes you a kid again. It makes you believe in those magical things that we believed as kids, and it's just a great film. Now, let's take a look at those aggregators. IMDb gave us a 6.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave us a 73%. I'm a little surprised. I thought it would be higher. And Metacritic, you evil aggregator, you only gave us 57%, but hey, it's Meta. What do you expect? Let's take a look at the reviews. The Santa Claus is utterly undemanding, but it's firmly rooted in the sort of good old-fashioned holiday spirit missing from too many Yuletide films. Now, I don't exactly agree with that. The that the Santa Claus is utterly undemanding. It's a holiday film. What do you want it to demand? You want it to demand your wallets? I mean, I mean, it's but they turn around and they say it's firmly rooted in a sort of good old fashioned holiday spirit missing from too many modern Yuletide films. Now, mind you, that was oh oh ho ho. Uh, I don't think it wasn't. I mean, you want a setup, and they had the setup with Tim Allen having to take over for Santa and not having a choice in the matter. We had a great supporting cast in it. Everyone was charming. I mean, everyone just gave you a great vibes. The set for the North Pole and Bernard, the elf that had to kind of help Tim Allen acclimate to being Santa, just perfect. To me, I have to disagree with the first part of this review here. Now, also, Sandy Davis, the Oklahoman, ended up placing the film sixth overall on her list of best films of 1994. Now, we can always take on another day and time, we can always take a look at the best films of 1994. So that's always something we could do to see whether or not we agree with Sandy Davis. But what do you guys think about the Santa Claus? Is it one of your favorites? Did you not like it? Let me know, guys. Okay, now we're looking. I'm actually pulling up the list of 1994 right now, just for shivs and giggles. 1994 had Forrest Gump. It had Shawshank Redemption. It had Pulp Fiction. It had The Lion King. It had The Professional. It had Clerks. Okay, so there were a lot of heavy movies that year. Interview with a Vampire. Uh, the one with Brad Pitt, obviously. Tom Cruise. Dumb and Dumber. Whoa, looked like Jim Carrey. That was Jim Carrey's big year because it shows Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, The Mask. We had Natural Born Killers, The Hudsucker Proxy, Ed Wood, Page Master, Macaulay Culkin, Quiz Show, Speed, River Wild. Oh, they did a remake of Miracle on 34th Street. So yeah, there's The Crow, uh, Little Giants. Yeah, I mean, of course, like the movie we're talking about, Santa Claus, War of the Buttons, Black. There's a remake of Black Beauty. Um, I'm going down the entire list. Blank Check, Airheads. There's a lot of comedies. We had Thumbelina, which was a remake. Richie Rich, a second Macaulay Culkin film. Mighty Ducks 2, remake of Little Rascals. Street Fighter, Flintstones. Andre the Seal, Neverending Story 3. That was a terrible film. But yeah, we had a crap ton of amazing movies that came out that year. So yes, I could see, okay, I will agree. Placing it six overall, um, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because we had so many great films that came out that year. Um, I mean, definitely, if we're going to do family friendly, I would say yes. But Sandy placed it six overall with all those movies. That's a crap ton of amazing films. I mean, you got Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump. Those are the top three. Lion King, and The Professional, Clerks. There's just so much here. Four Weddings and a Funeral was even out that year. So yeah, 94 was a hard year for movies because, geez, there were so many damn movies that came out that year. Just mind-boggling. So yeah, Santa Claus, definitely one of the best movies of. I mean, one of the best movies of that era. It still stands even today because I mean, like I said, they actually have a spun-off series on Disney Plus. Like I said, I still haven't watched that. I watched the first two or the first three Santa Claus movies: Santa Claus 2, and of course Santa Claus 3, which had Martin Short as Jack Frost wanting to be Santa. There was a whole thing with time travel, so it was all kind of goofy, Back to the Future like. But yeah, this is one of those classics, man. Um, but again, that one person's review, it's one person's opinion. Honestly, it's just one person's opinion. I should, But for me personally, everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own favorites. This is a great one. I mean, it's Tim Allen, doing his Tim the Tool Man bit during the movie. Like he even says, "Oh, Percy show." I mean, it's Tim Allen. Tim Allen is hilarious in anything. I mean, you think Tim Allen, you think the Santa Claus. No, you think Home Improvement first. You think the Santa Claus movies, and you also think of movies like Wild Hogs with. I mean, so many people that the whole cast is just an amazing ensemble. But you think of Santa Claus, you think of Galaxy Quest. I mean, those are Tim Allen staples, you know? And he's done a lot of Disney movies too. I mean, obviously, Toy Story movies he's done. He's also done a movie called Zoom. So he's done a lot of different stuff for Disney. So let's move on to our third film. We're actually flying by here because it's just me talking and rambling on. Okay, so we're gonna travel 2 more years later to Jingle All the Way. It premiered November 22nd, 1996. Produced by Mark Radcliffe, who, I mean, he's produced a lot of stuff. Chris Columbus, I mean, we know that, Chris Columbus, he's directed so many movies. And of course, Michael uh, Barnathan, if I said that correctly, I apologize if I didn't. Written by Randy Cornfield. Now, this is a zany departure. I mean, this is like when it comes to Schwarzenegger doing like family friendly comedies, we think Kindergarten Cop and then we think Jingle All the Way. Of course, it starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Phil Hartman, Rita Wilson, who, if you don't know, is actually the wife of Tom Hanks, Robert Conrad, Jake Lloyd. And if you don't know who Jake Lloyd is, go watch Star Wars, The Phantom Menace. Uh, and of course, Jim Belushi. I mean, this is like a Saturday Night Live funny bone best of right here because you got Phil Hartman and Jim Belushi. I mean, well, his brother John, but Jim did appear on Saturday Night Live a few times. Phil Hartman, he was a great comedian, great funny guy. We lost him tragically. I think about maybe 8 years later, maybe even less. Could have been 4 or 5 years later. Um, but great funny cast right here. It's and of course you get the tagline on the poster: two dads, one toy, no prisoners. I mean, when your kid wants Turbo Man action figure and you wait until the last minute, you're going to be scrambling. You're going to be fighting all the mothers, grandmothers, all the uncles, everybody who's trying to get that one toy of the year. He got to. Yes, he did. Cop Collector says like he got to. Um, I mean, this is just one of those crazy movies. You wait until the last minute. Sinbad is a postal worker who is going postal because he's trying to get the toy, and he keeps butting heads with Schwarzenegger. It's just it's chaos and insanity. That's the only way to describe it. It had a budget of $75 million, and its box office it actually eh, didn't make just under twice its money, 75 million, but it more earned $129.8 million. That is box office only. That is not counting DVD sales or VHS back then. Uh, that's not counting VHS and DVD sales. And a runtime of 89 minutes, so an hour and a half movie, not too long. Now let's go take a look at those lovely aggregators. IMDb gave it 5.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 20%, and Metacritic actually gave it 34%. Now, I will say, I mean, is this one of those movies that I watch personally? It's not on my top 10 list, but if it's on, I'll watch it. Um, and I'll give you my reasons. One, I mean, if you're that dad, I mean, you're gonna try and get that toy as soon as possible for your kid. Okay. I mean, we all know how bad Christmas shopping is. And back in 1996, we didn't have Amazon. We didn't have the online shopping. You had catalog shopping, like you could order something from like Sears and Roebuck through their catalogs. But this is like it was like one of those. It felt like a TV, like a elongated TV episode, about trying to find the toy, and they stretched it out to a full feature film, throwing Arnold Schwarzenegger into the mix. Uh, but let's take a look at some of the reviews here. Manuel Levy felt that the film highly formulaic and criticized Levant's direction as little more advanced than a television sitcom. Although he felt the script did not provide sufficient opportunity for Hartman, because Hartman is friggin' amazing, for Hartman, Wilson, and Conrad to give exceptional performances, he opened that Schwarzenegger has developed a light comic delivery, punctuated occasionally by an iconic one liner, while Sinbad has good moments. Yeah, that's like I said, it comes off as like it could have been an hour-long episode of a TV show. That's kinda like how it kinda, you know, delivers itself. As far as Arnold's comedic performances, he's not exactly what I call comedic, okay? I mean, to this very day, I think his best comedy comes from probably, I'm gonna say, to me, when I think of, like, comical situations, maybe True Lies in a sort of way. But honestly, when I think of comedy and Schwarzenegger, I'm thinking of either of Twins or I'm thinking Kindergarten Cop. I'm not exactly thinking Jingle All the Way, perhaps, because a lot of his lines just felt kind of DOA. Now Sinbad plays that crazy guy, and he does it so well. Sinbad was and is a comedian from way back. He's kind of faded to obscurity a little bit right now. Oh, Last Action Hero is a good one. Cobb brings up Last Action Hero. That's a good one, but he's mostly making fun of himself in that. So it's more of a caricature of who he really is in his movies. But as far as like writing straight out comedy, I really don't think that he delivered comedy. Me personally, I don't think that he delivered comedy in the right way. Sinbad is hilarious in this, and these two are literally like hero and villain throughout the entire film, even to the point where I'm sure everyone has watched this, but there's a scene where Schwarzenegger actually dresses up as Turbo Man because there's like a Christmas Day parade, and Sinbad dresses up as the villain, and they are actually fighting each other. And actually, what's really hilarious is the Turbo Man suit that Schwarzenegger rocks actually has kind of a jetpack on it. So, I mean, it's a zany movie. It's good for some laughs. Is it going to make you feel all nostalgic? Not really. It's just a fun time. Oh, there. Oh, Cobb mentioned another great one. Okay, but let's not mention Junior. Yeah, we're not gonna mention Junior. It was a comedy where Schwarzenegger is impregnated. He's a scientist, he's trying to help this, beautiful doctor, and he's, or rather, he falls for this doctor who but in the meantime, him and Danny DeVito wants to prove that a man can have a child, and they actually inseminate him, and he actually Schwarzenegger winds up being pregnant. It's hilarious. Well, the situation is hilarious. Some of the comedy is a little hit and miss, but yeah, I mean, to me, Schwarzenegger, he just doesn't have that natural. I mean, yeah, give him and I will admit, occasionally he punctuated occasionally by an ironic one liner. I mean, he's known for the one liners. He's not a Bandoma or I'll be back. I mean, stuff like that, like, or you see, there's a movie called Commando in the early '80s that Schwarzenegger was in. He delivers tons of one-liners in that movie. But it's Schwarzenegger. You're not expecting comedy gold out of him. Now, Sinbad. Now, if I were to recast this, I think like someone like maybe Paul Rudd or Chris Pratt, someone like that, and put them against like Kevin Hart. Like, put Chris Pratt and Kevin Hart against each other if you were to do a second Jingle All the Way, or reboot this in any shape or form. I think like those two could be pretty funny. I can easily see that. Like Sinbad is hilarious. I think Sinbad was a bit of saving grace for this film, and that might be a little bit of a hot take. Rita Wilson is now, as they said here, uh, the script did not provide sufficient opportunity for Hartman, Wilson, and Conrad because Phil Hartman, he is an insane. He was insanely talented. He did so many characters on Saturday Night Live. He was on a sitcom called News Radio. He even voiced characters on The Simpsons, several characters, in fact. Was it Lionel Hutz, the lawyer? I mean, he voiced a lot of different characters. Troy McClure, I think he was the voice of on The Simpsons. I mean, he was just an amazing talent. Rita Wilson has been hilarious in some films. There's a movie called Top Secret. I think it was called Top Secret, and that's how her and Tom Hanks actually got together. She is amazing. She has great timing. She was just never given a whole lot of opportunities to really excel at it, but she's produced some amazing stuff afterwards. But yeah, that's Jingle All the Way. I mean, it's good. It's good fun. You want to see Schwarzenegger act like a crazy dad for an hour and a half? It's a good one to watch. And like I said, Sinbad is just hilarious, and they're just two guys trying to get the toy for their kid no matter what. So let's go ahead and we're going to jump on to the next one, which is our fourth and final. We have Elf from 2003. And let's be honest, there is not one person on this planet in this dimension or a few other dimensions that don't know Elf. Elf was directed by Jon Favreau, written by David Barenbaum. Now, this came out November 7th of 2003. This is my brother Tony's one of his favorite movies of all time. Now, Will Ferrell, it can be funny. Sometimes, personally, he's just not my personal cup of tea. There's a few movies I have enjoyed seeing him in. You know, Elf is not in my top list, but it's in everyone else's. And speaking of everyone else's, the man, the myth, the Dre himself. Let him put some headphones on.
Hello, buddy.
So how's Dre doing today?
Good. I live back in the door, so I apologize for being late. I had an errand to run. I got off work a little early, and then traffic on the way back home, and then Peanut wanted some food.
I explained to everybody that you were having some you're doing some family stuff, so you're running around like a madman without a box.
It's that time of year, folks. It's that, it's the what was it? The most wonderful time of the year,
Well, that's debatable, but
it is. It's if you look for the holiday, not everything else. You can't let everything get you down. Yeah, I'm gonna be your happiness right here.
Okay. So I kind of breezed through the other films very quickly. I'm a little surprised at some of the reviews.
I would be too. Honestly, the reviews for some of these, I ain't gonna lie. Some of the reviews were a little harsh.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to get me to react to you having a face. It's not going to work. I deal with a 14-year-old all the time. Trust me.
What are you talking about? I'm not 14.
I know. You act like it though.
Hey, we all know. Listen, we all know that I'm the old man of the show.
No, we all call me the old man. All right. Last Action Hero. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Carol. Yeah, Elf is. I have to admit, Elf has become probably. I would want to say, maybe one of my go-to Christmas movies. Like I need to see it every year. Like it's on the list. Like there's 4 movies I have to see every year: Elf, Christmas Story, Die Hard, and Nightmare Before Christmas. Those are like my 4 go-tos.
Welcome, Carol, to the stream.
Hey, Carol.
Yeah, like I was saying, this is one of my brother's favorite movies. Like literally, he will sit there and watch it when they play it 24 hours straight. You know,
you can't argue against it, dude. It's gotta. It is what it
I
is.
personally can, because like I was starting to explain, Wolf Ferrell, I like him in some movies, but not in every movie.
And that, you know what? I respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
We're just because I was just going over the writer, and we're about to go down the cast list. Wolf Ferrell, James Caan. I mean, the legendary James
Get my
Caan,
coffee, please. Thank you.
the legendary Jimmy Caan. You know,
Yeah, may he
uh,
rest in peace. Whose son
yeah,
is who was awesome, Scott Conn. Been in a
yeah,
lot of stuff.
and he's already etched out a name for himself. He's been, of course, Hawaii Five O, the remake.
Yeah,
Uh,
what was it? Ocean's 12,
yep.
13.
Let's not forget Gone in
That's fine.
60 Seconds.
That's all right. It should be fine.
He was also in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Still solid.
So, but Peter Dinklage, I do
Yes,
love the
call me Elf.
I do love the interaction between Will Ferrell and Dinklage in this, because
Call me
I mean,
Elf one more time.
Dinklage just has that straight face. Like he could play anything. Let's be honest. No
Well, I mean,
line.
he has played. When you think he's played a Transformer, he's played. I mean, Tyrion Lannister being the titular role. No pun intended.
Because he drinks and knows things.
Because he drinks and knows things.
And come on, like, you can't
My
tell
wife
me
just laughed.
that he, now if they would have had anyone else in that role in Game of Thrones, it wouldn't have been the same.
No, I think that Dinklage did a great job. Where I was sad, and this kind of goes to something funny for those of you that are gamers that listen to this on podcast. Listen to us on podcast or are watching us currently.
Are you about to mention Pixels?
No, I was Dinklage as the Dinklebot, as the voice of the ghost from the video game Destiny, and it was sad because everybody remembers there was several memes made from this, but there was a exploit in the game where you could level up very quickly, and it was called it was on the moon, and you would go there and it'd be like, oh no, you've awoken the hive, and it was Dinklage's voice, and then Nolan North, who everybody knows is the voice
who voices
of
everything.
I mean, Nolan North, but he's very well known for Uncharted, for Nathan Drake. And when he became the new voice, it was just so weird sounding because he also voices Cade. He went from the voice of the ghost to the voice of Cade.
Superman in a few of the animated films too.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I mean, he's everyone. But a couple of my crushes are in here, man.
Oh, wait. He said Dre's with me on Die Hard as I will say this till the day I'm dead.
Okay.
Die Hard is the Christmas movie.
Listen, he goes there for Christmas to see his kids and see his wife and trying to patch things up, so it's got the holiday essence to it. Okay. And let's be honest, I mean, because I see he's like, Dre's with me on Die Hard as a Christmas movie. Yes. So is Gremlins and Home. Well, yeah, because Home Alone is about a kid.
Home Alone is at Christmas. Yeah.
Yes.
Home Alone. All the Home Alone movies.
Yes.
Either 1 and 2 are the ones that matter.
Now,
but
and Gremlins,
really, the other
Gremlins Gremlins is definitely so a Christmas movie because the Mogwai is given to Billy as a Christmas present from his father, who's a traveling salesman and inventor. So yeah, I mean, and it kind of shows you the true meaning of Christmas, and we can see how really twisted, Phoebe Cates's family history is, because she's so tortured when it comes to every single holiday. But I mean, yeah, there's some people who will argue, oh, if it's only Christmas for 5 minutes during the movie, it's not really a Christmas movie. But we're not talking about that, guys. Zoe Deschanel. Dre, I can't hear you. Hold up. Dre, do you have any? There you go.
My headset was low battery, so I took it off.
No, not a problem.
No, I was saying, we could, when you look at all these movies, across the board, when people argue what defines a Christmas movie, and I'm not going to call them out negatively, but I'm going to say T3, and I have gone back and forth on this for close to almost 2 years now, because he says Spider-Man No Way Home is a Christmas movie, because
I
of the time period it takes place at the end of the film. I said that does not count as a Christmas movie. Now, if you look at movies like Batman Returns, where the
Big
movie
gap.
film is completely engulfed in the Christmas spirit. There's
You know what?
snow, there's decorations.
That's like saying Harry Potter movies are Christmas movies because no, it takes place during the entire year, and they have like a quick little montage of Christmas very briefly. So, I'm sorry, but T3 Carlos, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, we can agree to disagree,
Exactly.
and we'll move on.
So we can move past it. I just wanted to make that comment because I know several
I
people,
mean,
and it's not just him, but several people feel this way, that they think that when you think of a
well,
holiday film, it can be like, oh well,
I've
Dave and I've even said Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon,
yeah.
a good chunk of the movie takes place at Christmas.
I mean, when like, you got like Mel Gibson tackling a person at a yard that is selling Christmas trees. So you
And
have
you know,
elements of Christmas throughout the entire film. So,
he suffers like holiday depression,
oh yeah,
because he lost his wife at the holidays. There's several
yep.
elements of the story.
Oh yeah.
We can say that it's Lethal Weapon. Yeah, it would. The first one would
Well,
qualify.
I've had arguments about Ghostbusters.
And
Believe
you
it or
and
not,
I kind of argued that, kind of, but I agree with you. Yeah,
both films, because the ones in the first one, when they are in the holding cell, Bill Murray is Peter Venkman is singing "Santa Claus is Coming to Town." The second movie, you see them running through the city wearing Christmas hats, wearing Santa hats. Although it does culminate at New Year's, so arguments can be made, but that's neither here nor there. But we got Zoe Deschanel from, of course, New Girl.
his sister is Bones.
Yes, Emily.
And they both can sing.
Don't get me started, man.
Oh, I love me some Emily Deschanel.
I'll the Deschanel sisters, man. Hey,
you can have one. You get one, I get the other.
I'll take Zoe.
I'll take Emily.
Okay, there you go. But I mean, regarding Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, she's funny in just about everything.
Yeah.
Mary Steenburgen. She's a bit older, but bit of a crush. Back to the Future 3, Time After Time. There's been so many.
Time.
Yeah,
that reminds me of when you just said that.
With Malcolm McDowell as H.G. Wells.
No. Time After Time. You know what I think of? I think of
Cyndi Lauper.
I think of Avengers Endgame when Rhodey is like, when they're arguing, when they're putting Hawkeye in.
That's the movie I'm talking about. Time After Time.
Yeah, when Hawkeye's putting his helmet on, right? And they're like, "What about time travel?" He's like, "What time travel?" He's like, "Time travel." He's
Quantum
like,
Leap.
He's like, "Time After Time, time machine."
Yep.
I swear, like, that was great, Dave. You get applause because I love Avengers Endgame. So.
Okay. But Mary Steenburgen is in here. Of course, she is, Mrs. Ted Danson. But this isn't the only movie that she appears with Will Ferrell. Step Brothers.
No, she's actually in a couple of his movies.
Yeah. So I mean,
that film studio.
And the immortal Ed Asner.
May he rest in peace.
Yes. I mean, he voiced J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man the Animated Series. I mean, Mary Tyler Moore. I mean, Up. I mean, he's.
I mean, that movie just kicks you in the feels. I mean, we could do a whole movies that hurt your feelings.
I'm thinking about it right now, man. So
movie, I know they make you tear up.
Yeah, I mean,
when I went
Phase on Love
and
Bob Newhart, who's still kicking.
Oh yeah, Phase on Love. Phase on Love, for y'all that don't know, Phase on Love was the heavyset black man that was the manager of the retail store, which is basically Macy's for anybody that didn't live in New York.
But he was also Big Perm from Friday. He also voiced. He did replacement voice for. Oh God! I just had his name in my head. Bebe's Kids. Robin Harris.
It was Bebe's Kids.
He voiced Robin Harris. Robin Harris's character for Bebe's Kids. I mean, it's like, and Bob Newhart's still kicking.
Yeah,
which is mind-boggling. He appeared on a couple episodes of NCIS. Of course, he had the Bob Newhart show. He had two separate shows entitled Newhart and then Bob Newhart. I mean, he's just a legend. He's the one that plays Will Ferrell's adopted father.
The elf.
Yeah, his elf father. But just like, I mean, it's got a big all-star cast. You just have to sit there and watch it. Of course, Will Ferrell plays this innocent character, which is just insanity considering all the other characters he's played throughout the years.
That's what's such a step out for me. It's like he's very funny.
Yep.
I feel like for him, this movie was a step out of his. It was like,
yeah,
it has its moments of very serious mix. It's like, I think Ebert said it best.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that kind of is like the perfect hodgepodge of like what you need to make a good movie.
Gotta say hello to Greedo and a Speedo popping through the chat.
Yo, hey Greedo, I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, Greedo, does this movie make you swole? And yeah, Cobb was like Baby's Kids was wild. It is. And
Baby's Kids.
I can almost guarantee with 99.9% probability we will be covering that at some point in time.
Oh, it's on the list of things for at least
maybe animated films that aren't maybe always 100% kid friendly.
Cool World. That you put Cool World in the same family with that. You put Aeon Flux in the same family with that.
I mean, Eight Crazy Nights is kind of maybe borderline.
Eight Crazy Nights is tame compared to Baby's Kids, because Baby's Kids was at that
that's a technical foul.
Yeah, it's more like that. Like, go take the walk. You know this movie's just what it is. Go take the walk.
I mean, if we're gonna do like stuff that just isn't family friendly, we could do the original Heavy Metal.
That's why I said Aeon Flux, Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
You know,
there's a few out there, but we'll take that on another night. So thanks to Dre, of course, we had the budget of 33 million, and it took that 33 million, was like, here, hold my beer. It makes $225.1 million for an hour and a half movie. And I noticed you gave us a third aggregator this week.
Okay, so I went. So that's
Metacritic,
because I wasn't here. So I'm sorry about that, folks. But we're going to get into some cool things. One thing I'm going to talk about is the trend that I noticed. So it seems to be this trope that all holiday films that are aired for Christmas have aired in November. Every single one of them airs in November, never in December. That's one. They're all within the 90-minute trope. They sit within 90 minutes. They don't go long. The longest is like an hour and 45. And it's a true holiday film. Now, as far as what the third aggregator was. So in my research, you guys know I like to do a lot of fun stuff, figuring things out. And I've been trying to stay away from the Rotten Tomatoes because that whole scandal they had earlier this year. Yeah. And I mean, Metacritic's no better. I'm not gonna lie, because they're like IGN. They're all owned by big businesses that pay into it. What I like is that there's an aspect to Metacritic that is fan related. So it gives me as a fan, I can look at those and look, and I take a better credence to believe the scores that they give on films versus what I would see on like IGN, or IMDb. And IMDb is heavily given into the fans, but it's still run by pretty much Amazon in the background. I'm not going to lie. It's Amazon. If y'all haven't looked at the interface, it's Amazon. So Bezos, either if he doesn't own it outright, or if I'm wrong, I'm going to state it like that. But overall, for what I think of a holiday film, and you think of Elf, look at what, like I said, it opened at number 2 behind The Matrix Revolutions, which was the second movie, the third sequel in the Matrix films. And that was a multi-billion-dollar franchise. And this one, in the first week, took number 2 in the box office that year.
Yeah, and but for the Matrix, the second Matrix to come out during the holidays. That was bold.
Well, because it was early November when they released it. It was like
But still, you think
early
that
middle
might be more
October.
like a spring or summer kind of movie?
Well, no, because it's the Matrix Reloaded, the Matrix Revolutions. The Reloaded one was the sequel. This is the third one. So this was the third film, and it came out late October. I think it came out the week of Halloween. And when it came out on Halloween, then it was this film. It was Elf. So the third week this movie was in theaters, it took number one in the box office, which I thought was awesome. And granted, the third movie is very preachy, very Dragon Ball Z. So if you like the Wachowski sisters and what they did with the Matrix, hey, it's very anime and very heavily anime influenced. I'm just gonna put that out there like that.
You know what's really anime?
What?
Animatrix.
And see, the Animatrix is really good, and that's another thing too. We got to do that, like that whole.
We'll do a Matrix.
That's going to be
sometime in the future.
I argue, like, I think, when you look at bridge movies, like, because I was looking at Lord of the Rings the other day, and because that the meme every New Year's, people are like, well, if you fast forward in Two Towers to like the last hour and 18 minutes, you can watch the entire Helm's Deep sequence to the end of the film. And that's how you can walk into the new year. And I was like, I've always laughed at it.
There's a lot of movies like if you time a certain part in Die Hard, you could celebrate it just as Hans Gruber is hitting the ground. Yeah. The same thing with Ghostbusters 2, actually, because that's perfect for New Year's since the battle takes place at New Year's Eve. So yeah.
I want to ask a question of Cobweb because I know Cobb, you're watching us. Cobb, what is Fire and Ice? Are you talking about the fantasy series Fire and Ice? Because Fire and Ice, I know, just recently put into comics, and they just made 1/12 scale variations of the figures. So if that's what you're talking about, that's something I want to do a review on this channel too, because that's the Frank Frazetta universe of Conan, and the art style is very cool. It's what my uncle, who was a retired New York cop, that's what he used to draw. And I loved it as a kid seeing it because it was always really cool. Like he would just sit and just freehand sketch Conan. And he would get the magazines, the big old Marvel magazines, or well, they weren't Marvel. They were I forgot the company that put it out, but Frank Frazetta would have these big magazines, and the artwork in there was very risque because the women were, barely covered.
He's talking a movie cartoon from the 1980s.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I've never even heard of that. I'll check that out. But again, our boy, may he rest in peace, Roger Ebert, gave this movie 3 out of 4 stars. He rarely, folks, I'm gonna tell you, he rarely ever gives anything 4 stars. And this was even up until Dave and I've always said this, from the 60s, 70s, 80s. The movie would have had to have been an Oscar winner, Grammy winner category. It had to win everything for him to give it 4. And it was Scent of a Woman, with Ooh-Ha, Heat. He gave 4 stars.
No, that would be Thanksgiving. I was going to say.
So,
woman.
Yeah. See, same here. I got one of those. I got the main character coming from that. I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I looked it up. Fire and Ice is actually it features produced by Frank Frazetta and Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, that art style is very. It's very Conan, very
Yeah, I'm looking at the poster right now on Wikipedia.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's definitely something you would love.
Oh yeah, I love that stuff. I 100%.
But
dark fantasy, that's my jam.
Yeah, I see. You covered everything here. Now, one thing that threw me was one of our earlier movies. Was it? Yeah, Santa Claus. Now the critic placed it 6. Now I was curious and I actually pulled up the films from 1994. That was an insane year for amazing films.
All right, give me the rundown.
I'm looking at IMDb right now. Okay, I'm gonna read it. Forrest Gump, Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Lion King, a movie called To Live, Leon the Professional,
Oh, phew. Great film.
Clerks,
Great
Four
film.
Weddings and a Funeral,
Great film.
Interview with a Vampire,
Amazing film.
Dumb and Dumber,
Great film.
Ace Ventura,
Amazing film.
The Mask, all three, Jim Carrey movies, Natural Born
What-
Killers,
Oh, that's Woody Harrelson, man.
a movie called Shallow Grave, The Hudsucker Proxy
That
with
was
Paul
a terrible.
Newman, and I mean, just
That movie was
amazing
bad. I saw
cast.
that movie. I did not like it. I was
Yeah,
young. I'll have to maybe watch it now.
Well, I said it was an amazing cast. I didn't say it was a great film, but it is also a Coen Brothers movie. Ed Wood,
Oh, that was a good movie.
The Page Master,
That was great.
Quiz Show,
Good movie.
Speed,
Amazing film.
The River Wild,
I feel like I saw that movie.
Meryl Streep, Kevin Bacon, David Stratham.
Yeah. I've seen
Yeah, that's a good movie. The remake of A Miracle on 34th Street with Richard Attenborough, Elizabeth Perkins, Dylan
Well, we've
McDermott,
seen-
JT
we've
Walsh.
seen- We've seen the remakes. Oh, and they've even done, what was it? I know, what was it? Not PBS. Well, Hallmark. Hallmark did a remake of it like
Yeah.
in, the early, in like 2010 because my mother-in-law watches it.
There's a
every-
movie called Three Colors, which I really didn't know anything about. A favorite of mine and also a favorite of T3, The Crow.
I mean, hey! What, my son named Brandon after Brandon Lee. You're gonna
Okay.
put him before me? No offense. No offense, T3. I'm the co-host, and I don't get names.
Little Giants.
And that was Ed O'Neill. I love him. And Rick Moranis.
Okay. Yeah, you had Rick Moranis and Ed O'Neill. Then the Santa Claus, War of the Buttons, another remake, Black Beauty,
Great
with
movie.
Sean Bean, David Thewlis, Dox Keepin,
Did he die in
Alan
that
Cumming.
movie?
Huh?
Because Sean Bean's got to die in every movie he's in.
Yeah. A movie called Heavenly Creatures is like a biographical crime film. Once Were Warriors. Eat, Drink, Man, Woman.
Never
It's
heard
like
of
a comedy romance. Pompoko. It's an animated film.
it. Ooh,
Blank
Pump
Check.
Up. I know this.
Blank Check. Airheads. Thumbelina. Richie Rich. D2, The Mighty Ducks.
Oh.
Little Rascals.
Oh, God, that was a great film.
Baby's
rest in
Day
peace, too.
Out.
Ooh.
Baby's Day Out.
Oh, that was part of the Look Who's Talking, right?
No, it was something completely separate from Look Who's Talking, but it was basically this
universe.
baby that's kind of going on this like adventure through New York City. It was supposed to have been kidnapped, but the cops and the kidnappers are trying to look for the baby. Three Ninjas Kick Back.
Yeah.
The Swan Princess.
Saw that. That was a good movie. That was an animated film.
My Girl 2.
How could you sequel it when he dies in the first one?
Well, they had Austin O'Brien as like her new love interest.
Yeah,
since
she was
Macaulay
growing up
died
as
in the
a-
first one.
No, Macaulay Culkin was the character, man. No.
Yeah. Because that's, of course, Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis, Anna Klumsky. And of course, Austin O'Brien, we would know him from Lawnmower Man 1 and 2.
Yeah, great.
And
film.
also from Last Action Hero. Those were like his top films.
Now, for people
sadly.
that don't know, like the Lawnmower Man was one of those like weird sci-fi
Yeah.
horror films that was in the King universe. It was a novella of Stephen King's, if I'm not mistaken. And I know the Lawnmower Man 2 was like a sequel they made a few years later, and it was like post-apocalyptic.
With Matt Frewer
Yeah. I'm-
replacing him.
We're gonna do a whole like.
Oh,
I know several of you have
we
reached
still
out
got
to
more here, Dre. Andre. Remember the seal?
Oh God.
Flintstones. With John Goodman, Rick Moranis, Rosie O'Donnell, Halle Berry.
That spawned a whole franchise out of itself.
Street Fighter, which we covered on a previous episode.
Yes, we did.
The live action Jungle Book with Jason Scott Lee, Carrie
Yeah,
Elways,
Really
Lena
good.
Headley, Sam Neill. And the last movie, and thank God it was last, Never Ending Story 3.
Should have just
which
kept it at one.
it co-starred Jack Black as a brush cut bully. It was terrible. It was a
So-
terrible film. But yeah, 1994, that was a tough year. There was a lot of amazing, freaking amazing movies.
And you guys heard the list. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on. And I think Dave did a great job of just giving us a little of that. But I will say this: when you look at, and I know Dave and I talked about this, and if y'all don't know, because I don't know, if
Better
Dave,
tell somebody.
I don't know if Dave stated this already, but I'll state it for you guys. We are going to be on hiatus, so we go into hiatus. This is the last live episode we're doing. For this year.
Don't worry. We'll still be doing live
We're
episodes.
gonna get back to live. So just to give you guys a heads up, this is what the plan is. Next week's episode, the 27th, Dave and I will be with our families. We're gonna enjoy the holiday. We're taking a week off, but we still are giving you guys an episode. So tune in. You guys will get a notification. Now, Dave said there's a chance he will be in the.
I most likely will be in the chat.
So he will, and I will try to at some point. Because I know it's my day off. It's going to be me acclimating to my new work schedule, working 3 to midnight. So I'll be off on Wednesdays. So I will try to be in the chat. But then we're going to come back. I think it is the 4th. We will be back January 4th with our first episode of the new year. And what it's going to be is our top 5 list for 2023. So we are going to go through what we felt were the movies that made this year. And I already will state, and I cannot lie, I know I meant when you guys watch the video, you'll understand my reference when I do this. For those of you that watch the video, you'll understand when I go like this. And say I have 2 of the movies that I think are the bangers for 2023.
We already know a certain web slinger is going to be in your.
Oh, this is number one. This is number one. I'm Oppenheimer, as great as a film as it is. I'm giving Across the Spider-Verse the number 1 spot. The Oppenheimer is actually fighting for the number 2 spot because I don't have it on Blu-ray yet, and until it comes out on Blu-ray, Godzilla -1 will probably be my number 2 movie of this year. It's hands down. And I think if I get to see it next week on my day off, I'm going to try to go see it. The Iron Claw movie, which is about the Von Erichs, the wrestling Von Erich family from Texas.
I've been hearing some good stuff about that.
And I read some reviews. One of my friends that actually works in the wrestling industry, he saw an advanced screening of it and said to me, who's a wrestling fan, he said, "Dre, you need to watch it. It's like the perfect wrestling movie."
I've heard that apparently Efron does a really good job in the film. From what I've been hearing,
Zac Efron does. He actually trained with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF from AEW, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Several WWE personalities were at the event for the opening. Which
I mean, the Von Erichs are pretty much royalty when it comes to the wrestling world itself. So I mean,
they are. Yeah, when you rate tag teams, and I think Undertaker just was Jim Cornette just said on his podcast. He said, "Who are the best wrestling tag teams?" Internet Express, the Legion of Doom, the Von Erichs, and I was just like, "Wow!" Like it blew my mind when I'm like the Von Erichs, and they're before my time as a wrestling fan.
Yeah,
like his sons are actually wrestling on the independents now, and they're killing it. Like they're actually in AEW right now. I think they're testing to see if they're gonna be a part of AEW, which would be amazing if Tony Khan can land them. But right now, I'm not gonna get into wrestling talk. That's something that's
a different stream.
That's a different stream with different class of people because I know some of y'all don't like wrestling. But the Iron Claw is one of those movies I want to go see.
It's fake.
It's scripted. I know it's fake. Jesus.
It's sports entertainment.
It's sports entertainment. That's why I know what it is. But
what was that? Was that Mrs.
Mrs. White,
Safe Collectors?
She's over here. He's hiding off screen. You can't see her on the couch.
I saw her walking by a couple
I know.
times. We're
We're live. We're just saying. My
Yeah.
wife says hi.
I
to
mean,
everybody.
trust me, we can always rewind this. We can take a blown up picture and make T-shirts of your wife's
I know. Just
walking by.
her like doing the grudge walkthrough. Like we just like put her in. Exactly. All she has to do. But yeah, like I think that those are some of the movies I think. You want to say hi? You want to say hi on screen? Come on. Here, come here.
Uh-oh, it's peanut time.
No, she doesn't want. She gets shy. Yeah, she likes to say hi off camera. But
Oh, we hear
Claw-
her all the time though.
I know everybody hears her on every stream I'm on. Y'all hear her, and y'all love her, which means the world to me because that's my little girl. It's my mini me. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
those are like the top movies to go see. Like if you guys get a chance at the holidays, and I know some people don't celebrate Christmas with their families or don't have family to celebrate it with. If you guys have an opportunity on Christmas Day, the movie theaters are open.
Yes, they
Go
are.
see the Iron Claw. I think it's
Trust
a good
me.
film. Go if you can get to see Godzilla. Got extended one more week, so it's I think till tomorrow or.
So if it's extended, did it go from -1 to just Godzilla 0 now, or 0.5? No.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I had to mute because she was screaming loud. What happened?
I was like, well, if it's extended, so is it like more like Godzilla 0.5 now?
I know it's like 1.5. Well, I did see an interesting article. I'll mention it now for those of you that haven't. In Japan, they are giving it the full black and white treatment. So the film is going to go completely black and white,
Like the original Godzilla, Raymond Burr.
And I'm going to tell you now, I 100%. Dave knows I raved about this movie when I saw it, and I raved, and I'm going to still rave about it. It is probably one of the best films this year. It's the highest grossing film in the world.
It's Madame Mosquitoes and Let's go.
I'm going to tell you now, go see it, folks. Go see it. Go see it. Go see it. And if you have the opportunity, like I said, if you have the time, movie tickets ain't cheap. Go see it. But I recommend
like
it.
sometimes like General Cinema, or not General Cinema, but Regal and a few other days, they'll do like a bargain day, like on Tuesdays and whatnot. So, look around, check your matinees, check your local theater, like your smaller theater houses. They might have some holiday specials going on. So take a look at it, guys.
Exactly. And I recommend it, it's something.
Or, those points you add, those points on like the AMC app and Fandango and the Regal app, those points add up. You might have a free ticket right now, so you just never know. Take a look at your app.
My wife,
check it out.
Free, because if you use the Regal app, you're paying $1.98 convenience to go even use your free ticket. So I had to pay $2 to go see Godzilla. I would have paid $20 to go see Godzilla, but to pay the $2 that I had to pay, still worth it.
See,
so go see it. Oh, Blue, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you for coming through and wishing us a Merry Christmas.
And like Blue. This is live, and yes, we love sharks as well.
And wait, we are not. We also know that KVG is not filmed. Cowboy is not doing his lives this week.
No, he's actually hanging out with Destination Stone right now. They are building gingerbread houses. So after this stream, if you're looking for a nice, cool, nice, fun stream to hang out with, you might want to check out Destination Stone. Dwayne and Stevie. So check them out.
I mean, we played on Monday, Diablo 4. I know he's doing. He's taking a break from streaming this week, and he's going to be away next week.
Yeah, he posted that. I think they're doing a Gunpla hanger this week, but for a lot of the days, things are going to be a little sporadic. But you never know. Someone, you may find your local toy collectors who don't always do streams pop up and do a few streams. We'll see what happens.
I mean, I do know that Friday I might. Like after I finish work, David, I might recruit some of our Fortnite crew to play a couple of rounds of Fortnite.
No, I'm gonna be out of town.
Oh, you leaving Friday? Are you guys leaving early?
Friday afternoon. We're like Friday around noon. We're leaving to go to Saratoga, so I will be without PlayStation, and I probably won't be back until Tuesday. So
all right. Well, folks, then.
But
Hey,
But
you know,
if anyone needs to get a hold of me for any reasons, though, you can always find me on Instagram at Daves_Dimension, or you can email us. You can also find Dre at the Dre of the Collector Safe Space on Instagram as well. But of course, you can always message us on the Outer Dim Pod on Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter. Screw you.
yeah, I still call it Twitter too. It's the X. Until they
and-
charge us, until they start
and-
saying they're going to charge us for the account, then I'm going to delete it.
And if anyone personally needs to reach me, you can always email me directly at davesdimension78@gmail.com, or you can message us through the Outer Dimensions podcast at gmail.com. So,
But yeah, I figured just so you guys know, we said January 4th we're going to be back. We have our episode January 4th.
We have our pre-recorded episode next week, the 27th.
And like I said, Dave and I, Dave 100% will be in the chat. I will not. I will possibly be
Unless
in the
something
chat,
happens.
but we'll see what happens unless something changes. But I'm just giving you guys a heads up that it'll be pre-recorded, because I hate when people pre-record and they don't say, and then like you're looking in the comments and like they're like, why are they responding? So just giving you guys just that piece of information. And
Yes,
beyond
sir.
that, look forward to 2024, folks. We have Dave and I took this podcast from the Leapcast, which Dave and I will probably, I 100% believe we will be filming episodes to talk about Quantum Leap, because the season finale happened and it was amazing. And I definitely want to talk about it because there's so many questions, so many answers.
We can do some. We can do like one or two live streams. So I am going to be catching up, doing pre-recorded catch ups of those. So
I'll jump in. I may be jumping on a few of those because I did catch every episode of this season 2 and I loved it. I do know season 3. They already said it's going to be early spring of 2024. So be looking forward to that. I do know because of everything that happened with the strike, we are seeing a lot of shows that were postponed are now going back into their filming. I did hear sad news that this Strange New Worlds we're not going to end up seeing till probably late next year, which means.
But you do get the final season of Discovery,
which we've been waiting for, and I'm looking very forward to that.
But honestly, I think more majority of the fans are really looking forward to Strange New Worlds. Lower Decks has been pretty consistent. Some other news: apparently, Matt Reeves is going to be doing I guess there's a was it a TV show, or he's going to be doing a Batman, but it's going to be something that's not part of the Pattinson universe. So I've been hearing some rumblings about that. But did you hear rumblings about someone wanting to buy Paramount?
Yes, I did. I saw the IGN,
and I'm not happy. I mean, if this happens, it's going to be like Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. I'm going on a road trip. He must be stopped at all costs.
That means I got to come with you.
Okay, so, well, does that make me Silent Bob and you're Jay?
Yeah, because I do like to, I've indulged.
Practice your snoochy boochie.
Snoochie boochies. But yeah, I mean, I won't lie, folks. I mean, we can mention this now because I know I was late and I'll mention it a little bit. The two biggest, obviously, news articles that have hit the news today.
Merry Christmas to you, Vern.
Was the biggest one we know of is obviously the potential merger, and they're calling it a merger, not a buyout. Was
not going to happen.
Brothers Discovery.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but several YouTubers we know personally, as well as several major players, are saying that Warner Brothers their stock is very low, and that they've been selling a lot of their IPs. And
they've been pretty much leasing them out, let's just say, because almost everything of DC, with a few exceptions, is now on Netflix right now completely.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, because they just completed their merger recently, like in the past year. I don't see the FCC entertaining any new merging with anyone else. At least when it comes to Warner Brothers Discovery, I don't see them, because also Paramount is pretty much a big bulk of CBS, if not the entirety of it.
It is.
Okay. CBS, Viacom. I mean, that's like your Nickelodeon, your MTV, your VH1s. I mean, that's a lot of different shows right there. That's a lot of different IPs. Warner Brothers is starving. Sadly, the Warner Brothers DC Discovery has ran Warner Brothers into the ground. It's killed the DC. Let's be honest. It killed the DC cinematic universe for the most part. Let's be honest.
It has, and now, and I know that James Gunn, because it came out today in the news. James Gunn met with our boy, the former Beast, and he's now officially
You mean
out.
Lex Luthor?
Yeah, he came out as Lex Luthor, and people are like,
I love that casting for Lex Luthor, though. I personally love it.
But I love the I love the fans' reaction that like James Gunn's like, well, this is the first time we're saying it. We're like, no, fans knew like weeks ago, bro. Like you're like whoever was your social media person, they already let the you know.
I'm sorry, Marvel has better social media security, even with Mark Ruffalo, than Warner Brothers right now.
You know, so and then speaking of which, I'm going to mention the other piece of big news, obviously, which is
you switched money by switching over to Geico. Oh, we lost Dre. Dre, where'd you go? We'll give Dre a minute to see if he can pop back in, because he just wanted to drop out.
No, I was doing it for special effect. You didn't know that, right?
He was like, "Screw you, hippies."
Oh no, somehow my mouse like remapped the key on itself, so I'll have to fix that.
Right.
But yeah, obviously the big news is Jonathan Majors has admitted
is now a minor.
Is admitted to committing a crime, and I'm going to borrow the line my wife said. He actually became a supervillain. Like he fulfilled his destiny. He was a supervillain, and now Marvel has obviously ceased all Disney and the Mouse, and Marvel has ceased all ties to him, which I think was right. Which I'm not going to argue.
They could easily recast.
And the biggest news has been what they were going to call Avengers, because yesterday everybody in social media and their brother was like, oh, Avengers 5, it's Avengers 5, they're dropping the Kang dynasty. No, because if you actually pay attention to the major news subscribers like Deadline, Movie Line,
I see what you did there,
IGN, they actually came out and said that it's going to be called the Kang dynasty, and they're following through. They're just looking to recast.
Yeah, and I mean, Terrence Howard, Iron Man 1.
They have 5 people in the queue.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in the 5 ideas. Seth has recommended 2.
Do you know what the worst one I heard was?
Will Smith.
No.
Boyega.
Ryan Gosling.
Oh yeah, I saw the Ryan Gosling. That was the joke.
I was like, oh, they are not because one, if they did that, there would be so much hate.
Oh no,
not because of Gosling is an actor, but to replace an African American actor with a Caucasian actor, that would just come off so bad. But there's plenty of people. One person, I mean, I've seen so many names that like I heard someone threw out Terrence Howard. I was like, I don't see that happening.
Honestly, the 3 names that jumped out were Boyega, because everybody was like, Boyega's was.
I could see him doing it,
and
I could really see him doing it.
I did, after all the negative things he said. If he wants them, if the Mouse wants them, and they offer it to him, that's fine. I've
seen him play. I've seen him play some more tougher characters than who he played in the sequel trilogy.
True.
I mean, you see him in Attack of the Block. He can play a straight out thug if he really wanted to.
No, he's done. He's done good stuff. The other name that came out that I personally am siding with, and again I'm biased because I like Denzel Washington, was his son Jonathan Washington, and Jonathan Washington I think is more of a serious actor.
I can't see him doing comic book movies though. That's the thing. I can't see him doing Marvel.
I see him doing Marvel. I see him doing Kang, because I see if you want to take Kang, Jonathan Majors himself was a more serious actor. If you look at the work outside of was it Lovecraft Country and other movies he had done.
Didn't he do was it the 3rd Creed movie or something he did?
He was in the 3rd Creed movie. He was in Devotion, that played the first black
And
pilot that had a co-pilot, a white
and,
co-pilot.
and I'll say this: Jonathan Majors was I really liked him in Loki.
He was great, and you could tell that was the end of the character. And I
Yeah,
think and then we can talk about it now because Loki's been out for a while. If you guys haven't paid attention, the biggest thing was obviously when Loki finished, his character kind of ceased existing. And I
Loki
know
isn't
that
finished.
was
I'm sorry,
Disney's,
he's
and I
not
know,
finished. In
and I
my
know,
heart, he's not finished.
I know, and Disney, the way if Disney were to say we're gonna go with a different villain, I would accept it because Loki's story in the season 2, which is the final season of the show, did a great job. Like it 100% pushed that initiative forward.
Listen, with how they ended it, Loki is more than worthy to pick up the hammer or anything else. Okay, to me, Loki he elevated himself in such a way that I mean, he could rewrite the multiverse, but here's my thing. I could see them maybe doing a little bit editing with Ryan Reynolds that Deadpool jumping through a multiverse does something to kind of shatter things. Or I wouldn't be surprised if we see Doctor Strange pop up in Deadpool 3
He
because we
is
saw him leave at the end of Multiverse, Dr. Mom. We saw him leave at the Multiverse of Madness with Charlize Theron.
Clea. Yeah,
So yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of things that they could explain away why King looks differently, or not even explain at all. Just recast them and have someone else in that position. Um, I know this would be a hot take, but I honestly could even see Michael J. White.
no, he's
I
not
could.
strong enough as an actor. I'm not. I'm going to be honest. I love Michael J. White. Spawn was one of his best roles, but he is not strong enough an actor to carry the villain mantle. That would be you have to look at the actor of what their body of work, right? That's what I would consider. And John Boyega,
Okay.
if I look at Boyega has a body of work outside of Star Wars that I could literally say, okay, Boyega, your name should be in that hat. John Washington, you're not just because you're
I mean,
Denzel's son, but
he
you have a body of work behind you that I can
I
see.
mean, on Ballers, and what was the one he did with what's his name from Star Wars? Oh God, what Klansman?
Black Klansman,
I mean,
great
I
film.
mean, he could play funny, he could play straight. I mean,
He did sci-fi
Tenant.
with the
I mean,
Creator. He did sci-fi
he's
with Tenet.
yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, he's to me like, I mean, he's etched out his own legacy aside from who his father is.
exactly, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I could see
I
him
mean, did
stepping into that
did
role.
you ever watch Ballers?
I watched every season of Balls. I loved it.
Okay, then. I mean, both him and even Dwayne Johnson kind of stretch. They kind of stretch their range with
Their
with
acting
those
chops.
shows.
Well,
You
you know,
know,
and again, Dave Batista, like you gotta look at Batista. Of all the things we've all said, and I
yeah.
think that's one of the shows, folks, we're doing coming up in February. Just so you all know, we are going to talk about like sports entertainers that have broken out of wrestling.
And I've already said Batista. He's the one I think that has broken the
He's the only
mold
one.
and has the largest area, I think, or the widest area of range when it comes to acting. He's done horror, he's
Comedy,
done suspense, he's done comedy. I mean,
action.
he's done the family films,
Mhm.
he's done the action films. Hotel Artemis is still one of my favorites.
Great film.
Okay, I mean, we see him in Dune. I mean, he was it Army of the Dead? He was great. I loved him in
Army
that
of the Dead
because
was
he was a little bit funny. Had a little bit of a light side,
right.
but
And then you
you
have
know,
obviously Drax the Destroyer. You have him
I
in
mean, him as Drax,
just
him
that.
as
That's
Drax alone, like he could do that deadpan of like, and some of his lines he ad libbed.
oh yeah, because
Like
he had to.
like what is Gamora?
Yeah, what is Gamora?
He ad libbed that. I mean, he's funny, and you look at him and how he looked and how he presented himself when he was in WWE. You take that image and you put it right next to him now, completely different.
They're completely different characters.
Uh,
I love it.
The second Knives Out movie. I can't remember what the title of it
Check
is.
out,
It is
the Glass
the
Onion.
second one. Yeah,
Glass Onion.
he was in that. I mean,
Great
he
film.
was. I
And I
mean,
didn't like Knives
Batista.
Out to begin with. I'm one of those hot takes. I didn't like the Knives Out, the first one. The sequel I enjoyed a lot more.
Yeah.
But again, I love Daniel
You had
Craig.
Ed Norton in there. I mean, you just had everybody.
So, but I will say this: one thing aside, because a lot of people have asked me, they were like, "Hey, I love what you guys do. We've watched your like unaired stuff when you guys record. Are you guys going to do TV shows?" Dave and I have discussed this, and I want to state this again. We will do TV show news for pre-records. When we do a
Yeah.
pre-record, because we have so much topics that everybody hits us with that are hot stuff that everybody wants to talk about, and more now that we can include the movies from this year and going into next year. Because Dave and I purposely did not review movies that came out this year, and I have a backlog of movies that Dave and I want to talk about.
For obvious reasons, out of respect.
And we were one of the few YouTubers that followed in the nerd affiliated, flag under their flag when we were like, hey, we're not going to talk about this stuff. But then I started looking at films and I started watching some of the ones from this year, and I'm like, man, there's some really bangers that were like, like we want to talk about. So we're going to mix them in.
Now, it is true if you look at movies as a trend, movies are slowing down tremendously.
Mhm.
Mostly because of the pandemic, mostly because of the trend of movies. A lot of people are waiting until they hit streaming services for the most part. Let's be perfectly honest. Now, another one thing that there is one show that is probably the exception to the TV rule, because we talked about a few episodes of Monarch on a pre-recorded episode, so we're probably going to be continuing that season at the very least.
Oh no, we're definitely, because it's only got 4 more. It ends in 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So we have January 16th, I think, is the last episode.
So those would be a few pre-recorded episodes. The Leap Cast, like I said, I'm trying to find some time to rewatch a few of the episodes from last season and do some rewatches so I can do episodes, because Leap Cast was something I did on my channel independently. I did it as a live stream. Things weren't exactly timing out correctly, so it got put on the back burner, but I had a request to finish out the season and to talk about the season this year. So I am going to be doing some pre-recorded episodes, and we can do a separate live stream with just me and Dre discussing what our thoughts are, especially after last week.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I thought, oh boy,
man.
And Monarch has been fire, and now they just dropped Percy Jackson dropped today, which I have to watch that tonight.
Yeah, and
it's fire.
What if the 27th?
What if tomorrow? It's Friday. I got so much stuff to catch up on, and not to see Aquaman on Saturday.
Probably next week, Tuesday. When I get home, I will be recording a video for Doctor Who, because the Doctor Who episode, the new season with Ncuti Gatwa. Looking forward to him. I want to see his energy. We got a little bit taste of it on the 3rd special with David Tennant. I am also going to be doing another episode talking about what the very last episode truly means to the series moving forward, and some possibilities, just some random crazy ass theories. So I got some more talking point episodes coming up on Dave's Dimension. And in fact, somebody unboxed 5 X-Men 97 figures today, so he's got some videos that he needs to upload tonight.
And let me just pause one thing. Let me pause. I want to address some of the chat. Mega Demon, you're always a big supporter. Merry Christmas to you as well. Obviously, we got other people coming through. Ricardo, Merry Christmas to you, brother. I do see, what was it? Mega Demon, any plans? Anyone has plans? Dave is like I said, I was looking at big plans for Friday.
I'm being kidnapped and taken to my wife's family for Christmas.
To his in-laws. He's going away. And will be in-laws on Sunday, on Christmas Eve, and I think Christmas Day we're going to see my mother-in-law. We haven't decided yet, but that's the plan for me. So Sunday and Monday I will be disposed, and then Saturday I will be with my family celebrating the second half of my anniversary with my wife. And then we are going to go see Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom.
Sorry.
Aquaman. You
I'm
know,
sorry.
don't apologize. I like Jason Momoa.
Well, no. I like Jason Momoa, but I'm of the mind and thought that, well, this is it's a movie that sadly is not going to go anywhere
You know what?
as far as we know.
I'm gonna say it. Like, I'm gonna hot take it. I think this movie's gonna be fire. I think it's gonna be fire because it's
Yeah,
the last.
but Amber Heard can get medication for that.
I know that you get preparation H. You feel that burn. So I think it's gonna be one of those movies. It's gonna be really good. I don't have high expectations for it. I just am going to go see it.
Yeah.
That's what my plan is. And
I feel Aquaman 2 is going to be more of a buddy cop movie if you saw the trailers.
oh yeah, it's gonna be a buddy cop movie, and
Yeah.
and I kind of accepted it because it's James Wan. And if you guys watch, there's a hot take about why I like James Wan. If you guys don't know who James Wan is, he is not
Google it.
unknown to the comic book universe. He did Swamp Thing, the whole Swamp Thing show, which was freaking awesome. And I'm
I
sad.
haven't watched it yet, actually.
What happened?
I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't. I gotta give it to you. Remind me when we get off the show. I gotta put it on the Google Drive for you, all the episodes. Well, I mean, Mega, look, that's cool. Ricardo, Merry Christmas to you, my brother.
Dre, do you have any videos coming up?
I do, actually. So I'm going to say thank you for the people that watched my last video. I had 100 views on that video. It was one of the views of the new season for Retro Rewind that had the highest. It was the number 1 viewed video of this season. So I'm very happy for that. Whatever you guys, nobody commented on it, and nobody liked it, but you guys watched it, which is very impressive. So hey, look, it's our buddy Cobain,
Aaron, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Cobain Games.
So some of the videos I have coming out are the following. I do have, and I'm gonna pull it out here.
Hey now.
I have obviously Jada Toys, Ryu, and I have Fei Long. I just had this figure.
Jada, what about Will Toys?
I know Jada, take those toys out your mouth. I just got this in today from Marshall, the anime.
Nice.
So I have a stack of SH figures that need to be reviewed. I have to unbox the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, which I was like super happy that I found him at Target on sale. The box is bent, but I don't keep my stuff on card anyway. Spider-Man, it goes up.
I'm going through withdrawal right now. I haven't been in a Target in probably 3 weeks.
Honestly, there's nothing new. I mean, there's a lot of sales and stuff, but there's nothing that really of interest, to be very honest. Whatchamacallit? I have videos. There's every Wednesday. We still have a video coming out all the way until February of to finish out the Retro Rewind Season 2. I know that the latest video just went up for my Hatsune Miku statue, which I did a review on. And then on top of that, I will be recording and putting out regular videos still on when it'll probably release on Wednesdays. But the good news is Wednesday, since I'm off, the lives will return. Yes, folks, the afternoon lives will return. So from 12 to 1 o'clock, I will go live on my channel, and we're going to open up toys. We're going to talk news. We're going to talk whatever, and it's going to have rotating guests. The first guest is going to be Yukon Phil, and that's going to be next week, Wednesday, the 27th. So expect some interesting talks about just vintage and why vintage, and I think imports are about the same right now on the collector's spectrum, where modern is kind of whoop, and everybody's looking to either go imports or go old school. And we're gonna just maybe open up a couple of toys on the stream as well. And that's gonna be every Wednesday without fail.
Cool.
Every Wednesday, 12 to 1 o'clock. That's gonna be, and like I said, it may be me by myself, but I had Phil request to be the first one to come back because he loved watching them. So he'll be the first one. And then whoever wants to come in on the other one subsequently can. And it's gonna be, like I said, we're gonna talk TV, news. We don't really try to talk wrestling, even though I love wrestling. And then there was a secret project, but I'm not going to make it a secret anymore. I did reach out to EC Collecting, who you all have seen here, Colin, who's been a guest on this show.
of AC
Right.
Collecting and that F and Figure podcast, which
Yeah.
is apparently back in action now.
It's going to be back in action in January, which is going to be awesome. But he and I are getting together to work on a passion project of mine that I've been wanting to work on. And Father Figures, a show that will be appearing on my channel, will be he and I co-hosting and talking about collecting, being a dad, and trying to impart collecting as a dad to your kids, and how our habit actually can have positive and negative repercussions on our children. And we're going to talk trends of like their like kids figures and how kids are getting more into that mindset now than we were, and there's going to be lots of interesting topics. So it's going to be family friendly ish, and that might be, I haven't talked to him about a day yet, but
PG-13.
but it's gonna be like PG-13. So we'll be friendly for some of it, but a lot of it's gonna be talks about collecting kids and trends in kid collecting, not adult collecting, kid collecting. So be prepared. I'm gonna do some. I did pre-order some toys to review for kids, like
Okay.
stuff that I got for my daughter. I'm gonna be reviewing for. So a 4-year-old toy, you might see some of those reviews pop up here. But that's what's going down on my channel. And then obviously, like I said here, Dave and I have a lot of great movie stuff we're doing.
Yeah.
Dave and I did state this. We are going to do the week of the Oscars. We're going to have a special live to talk about Oscar picks. So that's going to be a first time we've ever done that. We skipped this year.
Who do we pick, and who do we think that the Academy is gonna
Exactly.
humdrumly pick? But also my channel, Dimension Tech, which is a new feature on my show. We
Very
just
cool,
did
yeah.
this today. I actually replaced the battery on my laptop.
Nice. That's a battery?
This is a battery. Yeah, this is a 56-hour battery
That's
from
dope.
a Dell laptop that is about 7 or 8 years old.
Nice.
So we did that today. So yeah, I actually have 6 videos to upload tonight.
I don't know why you can't see the chat, Ricardo. I think refresh. I know that sometimes the chat disappears.
Okay, now Ricardo, I can explain why you might not be seeing the chat. We are simulcasting this on 3 channels: Dave's Dimension, Collective Safe Space, and of course the Outer Dimensions podcast. So if you're viewing on one channel, you may be missing the chat from the other 2 channels. That could be why.
So we're sorry if you're missing out on that stuff. It's not purposeful.
Yeah, I am working on a fix for that potentially.
And there is potential that we're going to be
And I'm frozen.
Yeah, I see you're frozen. You want to pop back in?
No, I got a fix for that.
All right, cool. But yeah, we wanted to just say thank you to you guys and girls that have been really supportive of us. This is a passion project of Dave and mine, and I remember when Dave and I first started talking about this, and I was like, man, I hope it's successful, and this is again a passion project, and it has been a lot of fun, and we're not stopping, folks. We're steamrolling through. Like I said, I have content scheduled, or I should say, I have enough ideas to fill out the entire year. I am being mindful of more of your requests, and we're gonna sprinkle in some pre-records. So that's just the plan. So hold on one sec.
So like Dre said, we have a lot coming through the pipeline, guys. And also, please don't forget to share this. Please share not just the stream, but share the channel, the Outer Dimensions podcast, to all your friends and family. Right now, we are sitting at about 34 subscribers. We want to grow that channel as much as we can.
And if we hit 100, once we hit 100, we're going to do a giveaway. I don't like giveaways. Dave knows I don't like giveaways, but we will do a giveaway at 100. And we will not. I won't say what we're going to give away, but we'll do something at 100 for.
Dre's going to shave his beard and his eyebrows. We're going to put the clippings in a Ziploc bag, and we're going to give those away.
No, we're not. So I'm going to say I love you guys. Happy holidays. Stay tuned for the craziness that Dave and I have coming up. I have to go deal with a crying little toddler because my wife's getting frustrated. So I love you guys. As always, my friends, Watch your head on the way exiting the portal. Dave, you take us out like you always do, brother. Happy holidays, everybody. Be safe.
Catch
Be
you guys
well.
on the flip side.